Okay, welcome to episode 15 of the Kayvman Show, and today we're going to be discussing fat loss. This is obviously going to be a popular one for a lot of you out there. Everyone wants to know about fat loss. We've touched on some of this stuff before in nutrition, obviously, and we've done stuff on Ozempic, so I'm going to try and keep this separate from those. You can go back and check those podcasts if you need to, but today we're going to riff a little bit on fat loss and what's the best / most efficient way to lose fat. And the question I get from people the most with regard to fat loss, and is a pertinent question, a good question, is it mostly nutrition or mostly training? And the answer I give them is, well, it's both. And that might seem like a cop-out, but if you picture a car, it's like asking me what's more important, the engine or the wheels. I need all of it. I need all the parts of the car for me to get anywhere. There's no point doing one without the other. So the same thing with your training and your nutrition. If you want fat loss long term and not just weight loss, so that's a big distinction to make, but fat loss, you're gonna wanna work out. You're gonna wanna do specifically resistance training, and I'll touch on that in a second. So first, let me make the clear distinction between fat loss and weight loss. Fat loss is just losing fat mass from your body. You do need some fat, but I don't know anyone who is veered into the territory of having too little fat on their body. Actually, that's not true. So actually, with girls, it does happen. So if a biological female has too little fat on her body, her health will suffer. They do need a good amount of fat on their body. But good amount is, you shouldn't be veering into the single digit body fat if you're a girl, if you're a lady. But again, like, I want to throw out a number and say around 15 to 20 is good, but I don't want to get it too much into specific numbers. That's just like off the cuff. Around 15 to 20 is good for girls. Guys can get away with a lot less. They should be under 15. Guys should be under 15% body fat. You can be under 10%, but you don't have to shoot for that low in terms of just health. That's just for an aesthetic goal. You can have less than 10%. That's when you're going to start to see abs is less than 10% on guys and less than 15% on girls. So now that we have those barometers of how much fat you should have, how is that different from weight loss? Weight loss is just any type of weight loss, just to have less mass, which is essentially your gravitational pull on Earth. What does it mean? It doesn't really mean anything. How much you weigh doesn't mean anything. So weight loss is not that important. Fat loss is important because most people have too much body fat and they need to lose it, and you're going to see a lot of health benefits, a lot of aesthetic benefits. You're going to look better by having less body fat. So we want to lose body fat and not just body mass. Okay, so we're going to make that distinction, and that's going to be important a little bit later. And the key is you want to really focus on a scientific equation, which is true. Okay, the scientific equation is the law of thermodynamics. Your calories in versus your calories out will dictate your weight loss, right? It will dictate your weight loss. And again, we said we don't worry about weight loss, but it is also a really important component of fat loss. Now, that equation by itself is not enough because there's so many variables and complexities to that equation. It's a good basic starting point, but what dictates your calories in? You can eat food and your calories in will go up, but only if you absorb that food, you assimilate and absorb that food and you take those nutrients. If your body doesn't absorb or assimilate those calories in, then that will change your calories in. It also matters what calories you put in. A calorie is not just a calorie, because calories in will often determine calories out. And those calories in should be from high quality sources, okay? Should be from high quality sources because that will dictate the calories out, essentially. So what calories in, we will focus on calories out in a second, but what calories in do you need to focus on? Calories in you need to focus on is, first of all, protein. You need to make sure you're getting enough protein because human beings are amino acid / protein seeking machines. We need protein to survive. We will die without protein. It is essential. So protein is number one. Not only that, but protein has a large satiety effect. So when we're talking about calories in, what we want to do is make sure that we're satiated, right? We're satisfied, right? So we're turning our hunger signal off. That will lower our calories in and help with fat loss. How do we do that? First thing, protein. Second thing, water. Make sure you're drinking enough water. That kind of goes without saying, but just make sure you're drinking enough water. Get at least 2 liters of water in a day. I can't tell you how many times I've been training someone for a few months and I've been like, oh, something's wrong. Like their performance isn't where it should be. Their fat loss isn't where it should be. And I ask them, yo, do you drink water? 9 times out of 10, they say, no, I don't. What water? What's water? So make sure you're drinking enough water. It should go without saying, but I'm going to say it. So that's 1. 2, protein. 3, make sure you're getting enough saturated fat, not polyunsaturated fat. We've spoken about this in nutrition. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to some of the nutrition stuff. But make sure you're getting enough saturated fat. That will keep your metabolism high. It will keep your thyroid working. It will keep your fat burning machinery going, right? It will keep your energy up. It will keep your hormones nice and happy. And that will dictate your calories out. So you can raise your saturated fat and raise your calories in and end up raising your calories out even higher. I've seen it, dozens and dozens of times. So don't be afraid of a at least moderate, if not large amount of saturated fats. What are saturated fats? We've spoken about this before, but beef, dairy fat, red meat, any type of red meat fat. So fatty red meat, so beef, but also lamb and venison, etc. Coconut. Cocoa butter. There are some issues with cocoa butter, but part of the reason why dark chocolate is so good for people is because if you're low on saturated fat, say you're a vegan or whatever, dark chocolate's going to help a lot because, or just any type of chocolate with a lot of cocoa butter in it, because it's going to jack up essentially your metabolism, hormones, energy, etc. So we've spoken about that before. I don't want to go too far into it. Make sure you're getting enough saturated fat in your diet. And then carbs will also provide satiety for a lot of people. This is going to be different for different people based on your insulin sensitivity. So your muscle insulin sensitivity is what we want your muscles to, or at least your lean body mass to be insulin sensitive, meaning your lean body mass can react well to insulin and bring in nutrients into the cell. You don't want your fat to be insulin sensitive. You want your muscle to be insulin sensitive. It's a little bit complex, so I don't want to go too far into it, but basically the leaner you are and the more muscle you have and the less body fat you have, the more insulin sensitive you're going to be, by and large. And therefore, the more carbs you can deal with. Okay, so if you have a ton of weight to lose, 100 pounds, etc., more, 50 pounds even, you should be very sparing with your carbs. As you get leaner, you will be able to increase your carbs, and you have to play with that and see how you feel. The carbs make you feel sluggish, that means you had too many. If they boost your energy and make you feel better, that means that your insulin sensitivity and your carb intake are level. So as you get leaner, you can start to increase your carbs, and it will not hurt fat loss. It might even help it, because some carbs, due to pirate mechanism in your body, will help increase your energy and burn fat. So don't be afraid of carbs as you get leaner. Some carbs will definitely help. So that's, I think, the calories in equation covered, right? I don't want to go too far into it, but you make sure you have high quality sources of calories in, and make sure there's a lot of micronutrients, because that's also going to dictate satiety. So say you're looking for, if your body needs, this is the easy one. If your body's looking for sodium, right, salt, essentially, and you are not used to giving your body salt, right, salting your steaks or whatever, what it will do is it will crave any type of sodium that it knows and that it knows you know, right? So if you in the habit of eating potato chips are a absolutely crap source of nutrition. However, they do have sodium in them. So your body will crave potato chips if it needs sodium. Sodium is one of the really most essential nutrients to your body. Now, how can you circumvent that? Take sodium, just salt your foods, take elements, take electrolytes, sugar-free electrolytes. That's almost 0 calories, but it satisfies the craving, all right? So having a high micronutrient-based diet, making sure you're getting your vitamins and minerals, preferably not from tablets and pills, but from whole food sources, preferably, is going to switch off that. It's going to increase your satiety, and it's going to switch off your hunger drive, okay? This is crucial. I'm going to wrap up the calories in equation with this. Your hunger drive is one of your most important drives. It's one of your primal drives. You cannot overwrite it. A baby, before it even knows its name, has a very strong hunger drive. 9 times out of 10, if a baby's crying, it's because they're hungry, okay? Maybe less, maybe 3 times out of 4. But it's a primal drive that's deep in your neural circuitry, deep inside your brain, deep inside your body. And if you're hungry, and hunger doesn't necessarily mean for calories, it might be for nutrients, right? It could even be for water. We often mistake our desire for food for desire for water. Some people do anyway. So making sure you have your nutrients, and I would include water in there, is super key to turning the hunger signal off. You cannot override your hunger signal, okay? If your body is asking for nutrients, you may be able to willpower it down for 5 minutes or even 5 days. But eventually, your body will explode and push you to drive to eat. It's like breathing, okay? It's not something that you can control. You can control it in the short term, but not in the long term. So rather than use willpower to stop yourself from eating, proactively go out and find those high nutrient foods that you can satisfy your body's hunger drive. Then when that hunger drive turns off, you just don't really think about food anymore. So one of the easiest ways to do it is, again, I like to go back to steak because it's the safest food for everyone, vegans or not vegans, but I'm going to use steak as an example. Eat steak when you're hungry. When it doesn't taste good anymore, that means your hunger drive is turning off. Stop eating. Just go by taste. When it doesn't taste good to you anymore, your brain is saying, okay, I'm good. I've got all the nutrients I want. Okay? And then stop eating. That is the key. It's as simple as that to keep your calories down. That's going to help with your fat loss. Now, your calories out, right? So you've got calories in, we covered, which is food. Calories out, which is activity. Now, vast majority of your calories out is going to be dictated by your basal metabolic rate, meaning your just autonomic nervous system, right? A typical man will have 2,000 calories burned without lifting a feather. Just sitting on his ass or sleeping all day, you're going to have 2,000 calories out, even if you don't get out of bed, okay? So that's your hair, your skin, your nails, your digestive system. Your hormonal system is huge. Your hormonal system requires a lot of calories. Your brain, right? Your brain is like 20% of your calories or something like that. From nothing. Your brain is more active while you sleep than when you're awake. Repairing your cuts. There's so much going on in your body without you doing anything that you have to understand that it's not the tip of the iceberg, it's the unseen iceberg under the water. That's what's doing most of the heavy lifting. And so that's why increasing your calories in can sometimes automatically increase your calories out, because when you get those nutrients in that we spoke about, your calories out might automatically go up, right? Your hormonal system might start kicking in. Your digestive system might start working better. Your hair, skin, and nails might start growing, etc., etc. Your basal metabolic rate can go up. So that's why sometimes when you eat more of high quality nutrition, without lifting a finger, your energy out goes up. Another form of that is activity, but unconscious activity, what some people call fidgeting. So if I speak a lot with my hands, I'm actually burning a lot of calories. Most calories that people burn through activity is completely unconscious. They don't even know they're doing it. They're standing, they're fidgeting, they're pacing, they're speaking quickly, their heart is beating faster, they're dancing, whatever. There's just activity. That's going to be dictated mostly by hormones, right? And again, that's unconscious. That's not anything you have to do. That's just your system. So to a large degree, I like to set this whole fat loss thing up in a position where you can relax, right? Where you can relax and let your body handle fat loss by itself, okay? So that's your foundation, is just having your calories in will dictate a lot of your calories out. And that's why eating less is not the key, okay? Eating less, exercising more is not the key, okay? That's not the foundation. That's a component, but if that's your foundation of your fat loss strategy, not gonna work, okay? I've tried it with clients, it doesn't work. And it's because of the reasons we just mentioned. Most of your calories out are gonna be unconscious. And the way you do that is by making sure you have high quality nutrition and honestly just being happy. So like, people are maybe not expecting it, but being happy burns a shitload of calories, because when you're happy, your body tends to use up energy a lot better. You tend to be more active, you tend to dance more, walk more, stand more, sit more, talk more, So that's another factor, is try to be happy now. That's a little bit beyond the scope of what we're doing here, but at least value it, okay? Value your mental health, because that will help you automatically burn fat. I know, it sounds crazy. The main other component I would say is, rather than focusing on activity of cardio and so on and so forth, I would focus on resistance training. Why? Because resistance training builds muscle, and muscle is greedy, okay? So muscle is a very greedy, essentially, organ, versus fat is a metabolically dead, meaning inactive organ. It's dead weight. It has its benefits, as we spoke about. It's going to help your nutrition a lot, but it's not going to burn much calories. So your muscle is very greedy, and it's going to take nutrients, it's going to take calories, it's going to take energy from your system just at rest. So your metabolism essentially goes up when you have muscle. So what you definitely don't want to do with weight loss is lose any muscle or lose any lean body mass. You want to keep all your lean body mass, or possibly even build it, and just lose fat. So you want to starve your fat and you want to feed your muscle. Okay, so you have to keep up your resistance training. Otherwise, you're going to lose that basal metabolic rate, your basal metabolism, and you're going to find fat loss very hard. So on the calories out equation, you want to make sure you keep or build muscle, because that's going to increase your metabolism. Calories in equation, make sure you have high quality nutrition. With regard to cardio and activity and stuff like that, cardio is probably not the best way, because most of the time when you do cardio, what will happen is your body will compensate by lowering your activity and your autonomic nervous system activity. It will lower your activity either unconsciously or while you're sleeping. So say you burn 500 calories on the treadmill, you will then subconsciously for the rest of the day sit down a little bit more, walk a little bit slower, be a little bit more tired, or your body will sacrifice some other element of your energy and metabolism and end up lowering your metabolism by an equal 500 calories, let's say. Okay, again, we're not getting into too much math here, but essentially, a lot of times the reason why cardio doesn't work is because even though you increase your cardio, you decrease your activity unconsciously, and therefore you're back to square one, but now you're just a little bit more tired and your cortisol's a little bit higher and you didn't really achieve much. So I wouldn't add cardio as a foundational. It has its place. We'll talk about cardio in a future episode, but I wouldn't use cardio as a foundation for fat loss. And if you do, make sure it's very chill cardio, because the lower intensity cardio you use, again, we'll touch this in the future, the more fat percentage calories you're going to burn versus carbs. Okay, so let me wrap this up. For fat loss, on the one hand, you want to focus on high nutrient intake for your calories in. That will turn your hunger signals off, allow you to eat less. It will also increase your calories out. So make sure you have your diet together. Do not try to out-train a shitty diet. It's not going to work. That's step one. Step two is make sure you have muscle on your frame. Okay, make sure you have as much muscle as possible. Do not sacrifice muscle. Keep your resistance training up. Keep your muscle building up. Don't just try to get skinny, because that will screw you in the long term. Keep your muscle up. Keep your metabolism up. Okay, and then just be happy. I've never seen people lose fat and keep it off if they're miserable, and there is a physiological reason to that, as we spoke about. So turn your hunger signal off by eating high micronutrient and macronutrient dense foods, right? A caveman diet preferably. And keep your calories out up by keeping muscle on your frame, building or keeping muscle on your frame. That is the key to fat loss. All right? DM me for any questions and let me know what you think. Peace.